There'll be some of you who want to emphasize glute development, while others may want to focus on building their quadriceps. And then there are those who do not have a particular preference and are simply looking for an exercise to challenge the legs as a whole. So in theory, we can use basic biomechanical principles of movement to our advantage and cater an exercise to someone's training goals. Let's use the split squat as an example. We went into depth on the biomechanics of the split squat in a previous video and saw how simply changing our shin and/or our torso position can ultimately alter our biomechanics. In summary, this resulted in 4 different variations. 1. Forward torso and forward shin. 2. Forward torso and vertical shin. 3. Vertical torso and vertical shin. And 4. Vertical torso and forward shin. The idea is that if the moment arm around the knee is larger, this will increase the torque of the knee extensors, or in other words, increase the demand of the quadriceps. And in contrast, if the moment arm around the hip is larger, this will increase the torque of the hip extensors, thus increasing the demand of the glutes. In the first group we mentioned, there are people looking to place more emphasis around growing their glutes. Based on biomechanics, option 2 should provide us the best advantage, as a forward torso lean with a vertical shin would increase the hip moment arm, thus increasing the work of our glutes. Now how about for quad development? In theory, option 4 would provide the most bang for our buck. During the split squat, we keep an upright torso and forward angle of the shin, resulting in an increased moment arm around the knee extensors, and therefore more quadriceps activation. And finally, someone may not be looking to emphasize a particular muscle group, but rather develop growth strength or muscle growth of their legs. Biomechanically, option 1 appears to be our best choice, as a forward torso and shin angle would create a relatively equal moment arm around both the knee and the hip. This would require an equal contribution from both the knee extensors, our quadriceps, and hip extensors, our glutes. But does this theory match up with practical application? Farrokhi et al. Did confirm this finding in a study in 2008 when looking at the forward lunge exercise. They saw an increase in glute and hamstring activation when comparing a forward torso versus an upright torso. But the authors were a bit hesitant when applying their findings practically, by concluding the increases in hip extensor EMG seen with the forward torso were relatively small. Contreras et al. And Yavuz et al. Both looked at the differences in quadricep muscle activation during the barbell back squat and front squat. While these studies did not look at split squats, we can draw comparisons by looking at relative shin and trunk angles and the differences seen in muscle activation. When squatting with an upright torso and increased knee angle, as seen in the front squat, both found an increase in quadricep activity when compared to a more forward trunk, as seen during the back squat. Surprisingly though, glute and hamstring activity was found to be relatively similar between squat variations. So it appears that the theoretical model of split squat biomechanics may not line up exactly for practical application into training. Choosing a variation that is most comfortable that allows for progressive overload will probably be the most important consideration for strength and hypertrophy. Thanks for watching another video by E3 Rehab. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our channel for more great content. We'll see you next time.